First, I'd like to welcome everybody to our proceedings this evening, and I want to make a special thank you to the community college and Dr. Mano and the staff for accommodating us this evening. It gave us a little bit more room than we normally have in the chamber so that we could have folks come to celebrate these members coming into the legislature that we wouldn't have been able to do had we stayed in the chamber. So at this time, I'd ask everybody to please rise for the invocation. Almighty Father, please bless this proceeding, and in all our duties, have our members perform their duties honestly and well, and preserve untarnished our loyalty to our county and to thee. Amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Legislator Jasinski. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, we will begin with swearing in our members of the legislature who were elected in November. And our first member to be sworn in this evening will be Eric Hess. I would invite Eric Hess and John Mertz to come to the podium for the administration of the oath of office.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Eric Hess,
I, Eric Hess,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the laws, rules, and regulations
the laws, rules, and regulations
of the County of Schenectady,
of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Schenectady County Legislator
the duties of the office of Schenectady County Legislator
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Just wanted to say a quick few words. First, I'm honored to be here. I wanted to thank my family for supporting me through these 3 campaigns. It's been a long, long haul, but here we are, and I wanted to thank my family for all the support. I'd like to thank the Rotterdam Republican Committee, the Princetown Committee, and the Duanesburg Committee, and all the candidates. We just ran a fully united campaign, and I can't thank all the teammates for the support. I want to thank Josh Cuomo, my running mate. Early on, we talked about running cohesively and as a team together, and I'm glad we made it. Thank you. I want to thank Brian McGarry for all his coaching and wisdom and all your advice, taking my calls, responding to my text messages. I appreciate that. And lastly, the outpouring of support by the voters this time was just overwhelming. Over 4,000 people voted for myself for this position. I'm going to take it very, very seriously. I look forward to working with every single legislator here and the legislature support staff member the next 4 years. I'm going to apologize in advance for asking a lot of questions. It might be a little bit of a pain in the beginning, but it's going to be a learning process, and I appreciate the patience in advance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next oath will be to swear in Josh Cuomo, administered by John Mertz.
Josh, who's calling the Bible? Josh, place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. I, Josh Cuomo, do solemnly swear
I, Josh Cuomo, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Schenectady County Legislator
the duties of the office of the Schenectady County Legislator
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks, boys. All right. First of all, I just obviously want to thank all the many people who helped me to get here today. Mr. John Mertz supported me, had my back, got me involved in the beginning, and was, really there for me and the whole team as well. So thank you so much to him. My running mate, Eric Hess, obviously I was leaning on you hugely through this whole campaign and everything, and you were always there. Joe Mastriani and the rest of our team. Like Eric said, this was really a team effort, and we always had each other's backs. We were there for each other. I always had a ton of questions, and these guys were always there supporting me, so thank you for that. My parents, Gary and Gina Cuomo, my brother Jeremy, and the rest of my family and friends who all helped in different ways, and most importantly, just pushing me to keep going. And when I got tired, and they always pushed me to keep on. And Mr. McGarry, obviously always there for his wisdom. Appreciate you, sir. And of course, my wife. She's the one who pushed me the hardest to get involved and take my stand, and I probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for her. She took care of the family and the house and the kids single-handedly while I was out, campaigning and doing all those things on top of working crazy hours. So thank you so much to her. And of course, my 3 children, Christian, Jonathan, and Juliana, and we have baby C doing about 3 weeks. They are the reason that I decided to get involved, the reason that I wanted to make some changes, and the reason that I'm here today. So thank you so much to them. I want to thank, obviously, the people of Rotterdam, Waynesburg, and Princetown who got out and voted and continued to support me through the whole process and to push me through to the end and energize me. Talking with them really gave me the strength and the energy to push through to the end. So thank you so much to them. To everyone here on the Legislature, I really look forward to being a part of this. I never thought I'd really be here, to be honest, but I expect to work with you all, and I've heard great things. I have nothing bad to say, obviously, and I'm just really looking forward to your help and your support. As Eric said, I'm going to have a ton of questions, but I'm looking forward to this, and just thank you so much. I look forward to a smooth transition and representing District 4. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Our next oath will be administered to Pete Frazzoni by Reverend Richard Carlino.
Chief Frazzoni told me I didn't have to give a speech, but I do want to say how privileged I am to be administering the oath and how delighted, because finally, in asking him shortly to raise his right hand, after 32 years of friendship, I finally get to tell him what to do. So, Chief, oh, good. There we go. Great. So Chief, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Pete Frazzoni,
I, Pete Frazzoni,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Schenectady County Legislator
of Schenectady County Legislator
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Father. I'm privileged to be here. I spent 31 years in public service as a police officer, and now I'm very excited to continue that in this body. So I appreciate the support and the endorsement of the Schenectady County Conservative Party, who asked me, or maybe I should say pushed me, to do this. And I also appreciate the support of the Schenectady County Democratic Party for endorsing me. So this is a new ship, a new ride for me. Looking forward to it. It was a great campaign running with Kathy Gatta and Sarah Mae Pratt. We ran a good campaign. I was very thankful for their support, and I'm looking forward to working with everybody and learning what this body does and to give my best each and every day. I also would like to mention and acknowledge Brian McGarry. Brian and I have known each other for almost 45 years from way back, so it's good to see Brian, and I'm glad to be able to work with Brian again. So it's been a long time. So I appreciate all the support I got during my campaign by so many different people in so many different ways, and for all the voters that came out and voted and supported me and showed their confidence by putting me in this position. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next oath will be administered to Omar McGill by Congressman Paul Tonko.
Good evening, everyone. Since I have three individuals that will follow one after another, if I might just extend Happy New Year wishes to all of the elected and appointed officials of Schenectady County, to your family members and friends. I hope that it's a healthy and happy New Year and very successful for Schenectady County. This takes me back to my original days of my political journey, where I began at the county level in Montgomery County at the Board of Supervisors. So it's a whole bit of nostalgia. For the three that I will be swearing in for their term as county legislator, Omar Sterling McGill brings to us great experience in the New York State Senate, and certainly in developing the local chapter of the NAACP and serving as a commissioner with the Schenectady County Human Rights Commission. Sarah Mae Pratt, who I've come to know is very involved as a business person and made certain that inclusiveness was part of her goal as a business person, and brings that kind of talent and passion to Schenectady County government. And finally, Kathy Gatta, who, again, I've known her and her family for a long time, very involved in the business perspective. Her dad is a teacher in the Schenectady system, and certainly Kathy has shown that spirit that they have for community as lifelong residents in the town of Glenville. So to each of them, my congratulations, and I'm honored to swear you in. And so now to Representative McGill. Sorry for the delay. Hi, everybody. Okay. Raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, Omar Sterling McGill,
I, Omar Sterling McGill,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will defend the Constitution of the United States,
that I will defend the Constitution of the United States,
support the Constitution of the State of New York,
support the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Schenectady County Legislator
Schenectady County Legislator
to the very best of my abilities,
to the very best of my abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Good evening, everybody. First, I would like to thank God for helping me get here today. I would like to thank the people of Schenectady District 1 who voted for me and supported me through my second run. To my team, Nick Petrillo, who was my campaign manager, Terrence Woodbury, Keisha Garland, Georgie Parsons, Abigail Melendez, Brent E. Kinney, and Sam Engelmeyer. Each of these individuals volunteered their time to support me, support my dream, inspire me, motivate me, check me, and ultimately never give up on me during the process. I also want to thank my mentor, Ms. Porterfield, who paved the way for leaders like myself to be here today. To Anita Thayer, Chad Putnam, and the Working Families Party, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on the ballot. Without your belief in the idea that representation matters, I wouldn't be standing here as the first African-American legislator and the first person of color to represent District 1. I also want to thank members of the Democratic Party for supporting me in the general election, making sure that I got across the finish line with a smooth transition. To my volunteers, supporters, groups such as Activists for Omar McGill, Capital Women, Citizen Action, and individuals like Bill Purcell, Bob Limmerman, Gloria Kishton, for the numerous hours that they put in on the campaign trail in my first run and this run as well. To Walter Simpkins, Renee Bradley, Michelle Osterlich, and Sarah Mae Pratt, who were avid supporters from the beginning, I thank you. To all friends of Omar McGill, I thank you for your contributions, support, but most importantly, your belief in me that I can be a great representative. To my village, I want to thank you for helping my parents and my grandmother raise me to be the person that stands before you today. You are the epitome of what it means that it takes a village to raise a child. I thank you for the role each of you played in helping me get here. The people of Schenectady County, I'm excited to fight for you every day. I want to represent you because I believe diversity in leadership is a recipe for success. A community is only as good as the people who are committed to continuing to improve the quality of life, local economy, and ensuring that everybody is able to thrive. I plan to have my first town hall meeting in the first week of March as long as it's safe, and I look forward to listening to my constituents and making policy with you and not just for you. The county legislature under the leadership of Tony Jasinski has accomplished so much to move Schenectady forward. I am excited to learn from each of my colleagues sitting up here at this table and work together to continue the progress that they have made. I also want to thank Ms. Peggy King for her service to both the city and the county of Schenectady. You served with distinction and grace. To my family, I thank you for loving me and always supporting me. To my mother, father, and grandmother, words cannot describe the sacrifices each of you have made to get me here today. I thank you for the unconditional love, the life lessons, and the desire to make sure I had the opportunities to succeed. Thank you all so much, and I will continue to make you proud.
Thank you. Our next oath will be administered to Kathy Gatta by Congressman Paul Tonko.
Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Kathy Gatta,
I, Kathy Gatta,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Schenectady County Legislator
Schenectady County Legislator
according to the very best of my ability.
according to the very best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Congrats.
Thanks, everybody. I don't have a lot to say. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that is behind me and everyone in front of me and everybody that voted for us. It's been a long year. And I'm so happy to be working with the people that I've been working with for the past 4 to 8 years. And for the people who are just starting, Eric and Josh, you can't ask more questions than I did when I first started. I'm surprised I didn't get, I asked a lot of questions. So anything that you need for our newcomers, please feel free to ask. We are one team now, and we should work as a team. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next oath will be administered to Sarah Mae Pratt by Congressman Tonko.
Hey, Sarah Mae. Congrats again. Oh, you got your little one coming. Sometimes they cooperate. Okay, please raise your right hand, Sarah Mae, and repeat after me. I, Sarah Mae Pratt,
I, Sarah Mae Pratt,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Schenectady County Legislator
Schenectady County Legislature
according to the very best of my ability.
according to the very best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep things very short as well. Just want to congratulate everyone being sworn in tonight. I look forward to working with all of you. I want to thank all of the District 3 residents for their support from the bottom of my heart. I think it's important to acknowledge that things are feeling very heavy right now. COVID cases are high, and individuals and families are exhausted. And we've been pretty politically divided. And I just want to say that I'm extremely committed to working together and doing the best that we can to serve all of the residents of Schenectady County. Again, I'm grateful for all of the residents of Schenectady County for the confidence they have placed in me. I want to thank my family, my husband Tyler, my son Cooper, my mom and dad are here tonight. Thank you to all my family, friends, supporters, volunteers. And I just commit to serving with kindness and understanding, listening and learning and working together as a team. So this will be my first full term, and I'm very much looking forward to serving for the betterment of all, and to continue to help make Schenectady County a fantastic place to live, work, and raise a family. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next oath will be administered to Philip Fields by Assemblyman Angelo Santa Barbara.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. I just want to take a minute to wish everyone a happy new year. Congratulations to all of the new and returning legislators. I had the privilege of serving on the Schenectady County Legislature some time ago, about 15 years ago, when I first started, and it was a privilege to be able to serve with all of you. Some of the members that were here then are still here today, and we accomplished some great things together. And as Sarah just said, it is a challenging year. We've been through some challenging times, but I know this group will lead us forward into the future, and they will also accomplish great things, and I look forward to working with all of you. So with that, it is a privilege, an honor and a privilege to be able to administer the oath of office for my good friend, Philip Fields, one of the kindest individuals I've ever met. He is, I got to know him and his family when I first got elected here, and we've been friends ever since. We've been through a lot together. I see him up at the Capitol quite a bit, and it is truly a privilege, Philip, to be able to do this today. So with that, we'll administer the oath. Okay, you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Philip Fields, do solemnly swear
I, Philip Fields, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I would support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York
and the Constitution of the State of New York
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I would faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Schenectady County Legislator
the duties of the office of Schenectady County Legislator
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations, my good friend.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank all the voters who actually voted for me, and I would also say all praises due to God for the result. And I want to thank you for the election, the voters that have given, for me to serve representing District 2. They have been very kind and supportive to me over the years, and I want to serve you in the best way that is responsible for the needs of our county and my district. In the end, all of us here are responsible for every aspect of the county within our jurisdiction. For my family who joined me, my mom, my wife, my children, my brother, I want to thank you for affording time away from you to serve as a county legislator. Nothing is ever easy, and in your absence or presence, sometimes county matters creep into our lives that often separates us. But thank you for understanding the circumstances over and over again, and I love you very much. To Settlement Santa Barbara, I just want to thank you once again for assisting me in swearing in today. Keep up the good work in your district. Many people have appreciated his service over the years, and I want to thank you for your state service in giving the county the latitude to collaborating with the state as we dealt with the COVID or the pandemic over the last 2 years. And please give my regards to your wife and your children. Quickly, I would just like to say it's a great opportunity and a great responsibility that we have to serve here in this particular legislative body. I look forward in working with my colleagues to making this body a dynamic and effective and responding to the needs of the county to the very best of our abilities. Once again, thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, and congratulations to all of our new and returning members. At this time, I will take the roll. Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo.
Aye.
Ms. Pratt.
Present.
Mr. McGill. Present. Mr. Constantine.
Here.
Ms. Gatta.
Here.
Mr. Frazzoni.
Here.
Mr. Cuomo.
Here.
Mr. Pacerni is with us via Zoom.
Present.
Ms. Osterlich.
Here.
Mr. Hess.
Here.
Mr. McGarry.
Here.
Mr. Hughes.
Present.
Mr. McDonald.
Here.
Mr. Jasinski.
Present.
15 present, 0 absent. At this time, I will take notice of and read the certificates that have been filed designating the majority leader and minority leader of the Schenectady County Legislature. The undersigned legislators duly elected to serve on the Schenectady County Legislature for the terms existing during the 2022-2023 legislative sessions, being enrolled, endorsed, and/or authorized members or elected representatives of the Democratic Party, hereby certify that they have chosen and/or designated by a majority vote of such caucus Legislator Gary Hughes as their party's leader of the majority caucus of the Schenectady County Legislature for a term commencing January 1, 2022 to December 31st, 2023, and request that the chairman of the county legislature announce that appointments of Legislator Gary Hughes as the duly elected and designated leader of the majority caucus. I also have at the desk a certificate filed by the minority caucus, which states the undersigned legislators duly elected to serve on the Schenectady County Legislature for the terms existing during the 2022-2023 legislative sessions, being enrolled, endorsed, and/or authorized members or elected representatives of the Republican Party, hereby certify that they have chosen and/or designated by a majority vote of such caucus Legislator Brian McGarry as their party's leader of the minority caucus of the Schenectady County Legislature for a term commencing January 1, 2022 to December 31st, 2023, and request that the chairman of the legislature announce said appointment of Legislator Brian McGarry as the duly elected and designated leader of the minority caucus. At this time, I would like to invite Majority Leader Hughes and Congressman Tonko to the podium for the administration of the oath of office of Majority Leader.
He's my designated Bible. Congratulations, Gary.
Thank you, Paul.
Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Gary Hughes,
I, Gary Hughes,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
my Majority Leader
to the very best of my ability.
to the very best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, having known Gary a long time and witnessed his playing a major role in the county government, I'm impressed that he is constantly working to be a problem solver and interacts repeatedly with us and our team in the 20th Congressional District, and I'm certain with Angela Santa Barbara and with others in state government. But I appreciate that. Again, there's an impact that's very strong that comes with county government through the very many programs that are placed in the tutelage of county government. So, Gary, I wish you well as you go forward, and an honor to swear you in.
Thank you. Thank you, Congressman. I'd like to thank the various elected officials that are with us tonight, starting with Congressman Tonko, Assemblyman Santa Barbara. I believe we have County Clerk Ackerley with us here tonight. I certainly thank all the members of the Majority Conference who supported me as Majority Leader, and I thank all the folks in the legislature and look forward to working with our newly elected and our incumbent legislators. My role model in politics and in government is the late Minnesota Senator Hubert Humphrey, who was also former vice president. And my definition of democratic leadership comes from Senator Humphrey. He said, "The moral test of government is how that government treats those who are in the dawn of life, the children, those who are in the twilight of life, the elderly, and those who are in the shadow of life, the sick, the needy, and the differently abled." I'm understandably proud of what this Majority Conference has done to turn Schenectady County around and set it on a course of stability and growth. In 2004, we had a huge hole in the middle of State Street in our downtown, and the downtown featured 2 bankrupt dollar stores and a pizzeria. County finances then were tight and property tax increases were frequent. Compare that picture with what exists today and you see a clear picture of democratic leadership. County finances today are stable, and last month we approved a 2022 county budget that yet again included a property tax decrease while guaranteeing that our residents continue to receive high-quality public services. Our Unified Economic Development Team continues to successfully attract private sector jobs and businesses, offering good-paying jobs with benefits to residents throughout the county. I thank the members of our conference for what we have accomplished for the people of our county. We have accomplished that not individually, we have accomplished that together, and our efforts will continue during this legislative session. We will continue to provide the public leadership necessary to combat the ongoing challenge of COVID-19. And let me just go off script there for a second and say personally that for 2 years, coping with this virus has been very stressful and I'll say somewhat depressing for me. And I would guarantee you that there is not a single person in this room who wouldn't say the same thing about their own experiences. And I'd like to quote the late Reverend Emmanuel Adams, who served as a chaplain for this body for a number of years. I look forward to working with everybody in the legislature. And as Reverend Adams used to say, I know there will be times when we will disagree, but please let's not be disagreeable among ourselves. We owe to the people who put us in these seats respectful dialogue and a respectful opportunity to conduct the public's business. Looking ahead, we will continue to execute from years of planning and work. Schenectady County is now proud to say that our new emergency communications radio system is online and will be rolled out to all police, fire, and EMS agencies in the county during the upcoming year. It is a very significant accomplishment and means that members of fire departments, ambulance squads, police all over the county will all be able to communicate with one another on one frequency and also inter-county, intermodally with other counties. No one person on our county legislature accomplishes anything alone. I've had the pleasure of serving with many talented members, and our unity has been and will continue to be our strength. I thank the members for their support. Have a good night.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite Minority Leader McGarry and Celia McGarry to the podium for the administration of the oath of office of Minority Leader of the County Legislature.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Brian McGarry, do solemnly swear
I, Brian McGarry, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Minority Leader of the Schenectady County Legislature,
Minority Leader of the Schenectady County Legislature,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God. Thanks. Thank you, Sam. Before you kids leave, my two daughters, Kelly and Ashlyn, couldn't be here, but Connor, Lauren, and her husband Phil, who Father Carlino married about 4 months ago. Oh, Father Carlino. Ryan, my sister Celia's son, Patrick, Sean. Did I forget anybody? We got them? All right, thank you guys. My wife Patty. Eesh. Talk about the doghouse. Anyways, point of personal privilege before I get started. Representatives in this room, most of them are from the opposite party, and we sometimes see things different from a political perspective, but when you're really down and out, and life throws you serious challenges, which some of the people on this dais and many of you here have our own crosses to bear. There are those who step up and express their humanity, their empathy towards you, and they help you in ways that you never expected. And for that, I honor those with whom I serve. I was enjoying my minority status of one because I never had any arguments with my caucus. It was bliss. But seriously, I'm excited to be joined by two fellow conservative-minded legislators, Eric Hess and Josh Cuomo. Josh, not to be confused with Cuomo's from Albany. Eric, like me, is proof that the third time is a charm. Josh went the express route and was a first-time victor. We will miss Holly Villano and Randy Pascarella, as well as Grant Sosha and Peggy King. Holly often called me to coordinate attendance with community events, and Randy, Grant, and Peggy will be missed. And of course, we welcome my former workmate, Pete Frazzoni, and Omar McGill to the legislature. Many hold politics in disdain. I know all of us have heard it at home from friends. Why would you do this? What are you, crazy? But politics is how we govern ourselves. It's how we choose to live our lives. James Madison wrote in part, "If men were angels, no government would be necessary. We must first enable the government to control the governed, but in the next place oblige it to control itself." We live in a unique country. The late Justice Antonin Scalia once asked law students, what separates America from the other countries? Many responded with things like a constitution, freedom, equal opportunity, but the unique attribute of this country, something that no other country on the planet has, is the separation of powers amongst the three branches to keep them in check and to control the inherent excesses of government. So we represent one part of that triangle, we on this dais in the county. I'm very honored to serve in the capacity of minority leader in this governing body and respect the responsibilities that we have, and I'm blessed to be fortunate to live in a country, the greatest on the face of the earth, that has the governing system that we have, albeit imperfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next action is to open up nominations for the office of Chair of the Legislature. This time, I recognize Legislator Hughes for the purpose of making a nomination.
Mr. Hall, I would like to place in nomination for chair of this body the name of Anthony Jasinski, Sr. I have known Tony for the entire time that he has served with this body. I didn't know him before that, but I have known him all of that time. And I will say of Tony that first, there are people for whom leadership comes naturally. It's just how they live their lives. It's just how they operate. And Tony is one of those people. He is, and always has been to this body, a natural leader. Tony leads not so much by, let's go here, as by, what do you think? There's no one in this room tonight, I am sure, that has not received a call from Tony and had an opportunity to have a conversation. I know that applies even to our most recently elected members. That's how Tony keeps us together. It's how he allows us collaboratively to form an agenda and to move forward. And it is with a great deal of honor that I am happy to place in nomination Tony Jasinski to continue as chair of this legislature.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Legislator Fields, second. Are there any other, having been nominated and seconded, Legislator Jasinski's name is in nomination for chair of the county legislature. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed. As I call the roll, please indicate your choice for chair of the legislature. Mr. Fields.
Anthony Jasinski.
Mr. Russo.
Anthony Jasinski.
Ms. Pratt.
Anthony Jasinski.
Mr. McGill.
Anthony Jasinski.
Mr. Constantine.
Anthony Jasinski.
Ms. Gatta.
Anthony Jasinski.
Mr. Frazzoni.
Anthony Jasinski.
Mr. Cuomo.
Anthony Jasinski.
Mr. Paterni.
Anthony Jasinski.
Ms. Oswald.
Anthony Jasinski.
Mr. Hess.
Anthony Jasinski.
Mr. McGarry.
Anthony Jasinski.
Mr. Hughes.
Anthony Jasinski.
Mr. McDonald. Mr. Jasinski. 15 votes for Anthony Jasinski. With 15 votes, Anthony Jasinski is elected chair of the county legislature. It is now my pleasure to invite Chairman Jasinski to the podium where the oath of office will be administered by Congressman Paul Tonka.
Well, we heard that name repeated enough here this evening. You know, much has been said about the success over the last several terms of the Schenectady County Legislature for the county, and certainly that doesn't happen without sound leadership that brings together the voices of this legislative body and allows for people to participate in meaningful, innovative ways. And so, Anthony, it's an honor to be able to swear you in this evening as chair of the Schenectady County Legislature. We were talking about this earlier tonight, you and I, that this is the 15th year anniversary of my swearing you in to the county legislature, and that seems like it was just yesterday. But I thank you for the great achievements you've been able to strike with this government body, and our relationship didn't begin there. It went back to those days in Rotterdam with the Rotterdam Police Department and your leadership as chief. So you have been a tremendously strong public servant. You've put community first, and God bless you for doing that. So it's my pleasure. If you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Anthony Jasinski, Sr.
I, Anthony Jasinski, Sr.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
The Charter of the County of Schenectady.
And the Charter of the County of Schenectady.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office of.
Duties of the office of.
Chair of the Schenectady County Legislature.
Chair of the Schenectady County Legislature.
In accordance of the best of my ability.
According to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
I would seriously consider recusing myself from that vote. But before I begin this evening, I'd like to ask a personal indulgence from all of you and ask for a moment of silence in remembrance of the 210 residents who lost their lives to COVID throughout this pandemic in Schenectady County, each one representing the loss of someone's mother, father, son, daughter, grandparent, or friend, and our sympathies go out to their families. So if you could join me in a moment of silence, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I'm truly humbled to be standing before you as I begin my 5th term as chair of the county legislature. I'd like to thank all of you for your support. And thank you to the many guests who have safely joined us for this afternoon's special occasion, especially my daughter Kara, who graciously agreed to hold the Bible for me. I want to offer a special thank you to our Congressman Paul Tonko for providing me the honor of swearing me in this afternoon. And as Paul had mentioned, he originally swore me into this office 15 years ago when he was in the New York State Assembly. The people of Schenectady County are very fortunate to have his representation. His hard work, his tenacity, and his dedication in representing our county's interests is well known, and I thank him for his continued partnership. I'd also like to recognize our clerk to the legislature, Jeff Hall, and his team, Melissa Foster, Aaron Roberts, and Jason LeQuy, our counsel, Joel Landry, who do an excellent job for us throughout the year. I'd also like to thank those serving in legislative leadership positions, Vice Chair Jeff McDonald, Majority Leader Gary Hughes, Minority Leader Brian McGarry, and my Deputy Philip Fields for agreeing to take on these additional leadership responsibilities. And as Chair of the Legislature, I'm extremely fortunate to have our County Manager, Rory Fluman, his very capable staff, and all of the folks who work for Schenectady County on our team as well. I look forward to working even more closely together as we move into the new year And to my colleagues, I welcome you back to a bright new year, a new legislative term, and I look forward to continue working with all of you, the good works of the Schenectady County Legislature in this community. And some personal comments I'd like to make. Like many other counties in New York State, just over a decade ago, our county was on the way to economic devastation. Our population was declining. Property taxes were spiraling out of control. Our tax base was shrinking. Jobs were leaving our county. Downtown Schenectady was practically empty, and our business community was struggling and stagnant. And a wise person once told me that if you want to be successful in public service, you need only listen to the people you represent. And this legislative body demonstrated the courage to make bold decisions, and we listened to our constituents to determine what it was they wanted from their county government. And we started down a path to improve the quality of life of our residents by reinvesting in this community and strategically leveraging county resources in key areas that would make a difference. The challenge that lay ahead of us at that time seemed daunting because the needs were so many and the funds to do so were so low. Controlling taxes, job creation, economic development, removing blight from our neighborhoods, reducing crime, public safety improvements, intergovernmental cooperation. And I'm proud to report to you that we are being successful in this mission. With a 0% average tax increase over the past 8 years, we have controlled taxes while maintaining vital county services. And we have maintained our very favorable and coveted AA1 bond rating, making us among the very best in New York State. Under the very capable leadership of our Commissioner of Economic Development, Ray Gillen, we've created over 5,000 good-paying jobs with benefits and been a witness to over $1 billion in investment within our county. Our land bank has overseen the significant demolition of blighted properties throughout the county, both in the city and in our towns, and worked hard to bring these properties back on the tax rolls. And as we've heard at our previous meetings, our task forces to address crime are having an overwhelmingly positive impact on public safety. Our Unified Communications Center, initially saving taxpayers over $800,000 a year when implemented, continues in operation today. We're bearing witness to public safety, emergency services improvements that years ago were thought impossible and cost prohibitive, with the addition of our new state-of-the-art radio communication system coming online, a $9 million investment by this county, placing new radios into the hands and vehicles of emergency responders throughout this community that greatly enhances their ability to communicate with each other and with dispatch, without dead spots or without interruption. And this new system gives our dedicated responders the tools they need to do what they do best, and that is to save lives. I'm going to go off script a little bit to tell you a little story of a young detective back in the early 1980s who worked at Rotterdam Police Department. And some of you have heard this, so please indulge me. But they woke me up at 1 o'clock in the morning because they thought they had a suicide on the Scotia Bridge, which all of you may not know was in Rotterdam. And when I arrived on the scene, someone left their clothes on the bridge, and you looked over the edge, and there was a hole in the ice below. And they sent this young detective to a house on Lafayette Street and said, hey, go check to see if you can find family members for this guy who they thought had done himself in. And I drove myself over to Lafayette Street to an apartment building and rang the doorbell, and somebody buzzed me in. And I was all by myself. And they let me up onto the 3rd floor. A woman let me into her apartment. And I went in, having a conversation, trying to find out when the last time she saw this person was. And my back was to the door, and I was facing her, and she whispered in my ear, he's hiding in the closet with a knife. And I went for my radio and had absolutely no reception at all. Could not call my desk, the city desk, the county sheriff's department. And by the grace of God, one of the sheriff's deputies had seen me pull in. He was about 6'3", a big strapping deputy. I'm not sure if you remember Bill Aguirre. But he came to my rescue, and his radio worked. And that's a significant improvement for all of the first responders in Schenectady County to eliminate the possibility of that happening again to a young detective at 1 o'clock in the morning who was by himself. So that's especially meaningful to me. Schenectady County is a proud partner in government with our local municipalities. We support public safety, parks, playgrounds, broadband, water, sewer, solar, and many other sound development infrastructure projects throughout the county. Our Department of Social Services remains crucial to a social safety net that is ready, willing, and able to partner with those falling on hard times, especially during a pandemic. And all these efforts began in earnest and were truly bearing fruit when in early 2020, a worldwide pandemic struck, the likes of which none of us has seen in our lifetime. and the impact of which we are still dealing with today. The risk for loss of life and the potential economic impact were certainly unknown at the time, possibly even devastating to this community, causing me as the chair at one point to review with the county manager the county's mass fatality incident response plan, something I was familiar with from my own career in public safety, but a document that no one ever wants to have to implement. And luckily for all of us, the worst case COVID scenario did not materialize. And however, this time in our history did give me the ability to make some very important candid observations about the value of county government and the importance of our dedicated staff to our mission in this community. And I must say that I'm extremely proud of our Schenectady County workforce and the excellent job they have done in stepping up, whether it be providing food, shelter, household necessities, sanitizer, masks, PPE, or test kits. They've gone above and beyond in their service to our residents. And our folks in public health have provided crucial leadership throughout this pandemic and truly done an outstanding job working with our community partners and getting folks vaccinated, propelling us to be among the best in New York State. How about a round of applause for our folks? And while our future may look at times uncertain, and knowing there remains much more work to do, I take comfort personally in knowing that Schenectady County is prepared to continue moving forward. Our strategy is a winning strategy. We'll continue our efforts to bring investment and jobs into this community. We'll hold the line on taxes. We'll continue to make improvements in our neighborhoods and support efforts to eliminate food deserts. We'll support sound public safety strategies. We'll care for our seniors to ensure they can age with dignity in the community that they call home. We'll continue to seek out new and innovative ways to deliver government services as we work with our local colleagues to bring more efficiency to government and with our colleagues in the state government to reduce the burden that state mandates have on our local property taxpayers. And to improve our ability to reach out to our constituents, I'm very proud to announce that this legislature will be holding some of our monthly public legislative meetings out in the community, once each year in each legislative district throughout 2022. And this will give our residents the ability to speak directly to us without having to travel to the county office building for our meetings. But more importantly, it will hopefully provide us with the opportunity to hear directly from more of you. And while our committee structure may look similar to that of years past, you'll notice a new Military Affairs and Veteran Services Committee and the addition of Housing to the Committee on Health and Human Services. And it is my sincere hope that these new committees, and in fact all of our committees for that matter, will continue to bring factual data and objective information back to this body to guide us in our legislative deliberations. And thank you for the indulgence. With that being said, I'm both honored and humbled to have the opportunity to once again serve as chair of this esteemed body. I'm excited about the prospects of a new year and the possibilities a new legislative term provides. Let us keep working together to keep the momentum moving forward and continue building a great future for our families, friends, and neighbors, and all who do business here, and those who call Schenectady County home. And to everyone here this afternoon, to those who will be watching at home, to all the residents of Schenectady County, I wish you a very happy, safe, and healthy new year. Thank you, and God bless. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for nominations for the office of Vice Chair of the Schenectady County Legislature. Are there any nominations? Legislator Hughes.
I rise at this time to place in nomination the name of my colleague, Jeff McDonald. Jeff has served as Vice Chair for us, has done an excellent job in that capacity. And as I said of Chair Jasinski, his strength is his innate ability to lead. Jeff's particular style of leadership is interrogative. He never tells you exactly what he thinks. He asks you several questions. And by the time he's done, you understand what he thinks, and you've also had to kind of explain why you feel how you feel. And it's really a very effective style of leadership for Jeff, and one that has benefited this body, and I'm sure will in the next legislative session as well. So I'm very pleased to place in nomination the name of my colleague, Jeff McDonald, to be our Vice Chair.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Legislator Fields. Are there any other nominations for the position of Vice Chair? Any other nominations for the position of Vice Chair? Any other nominations for the position of Vice Chair? Seeing none, nominations are closed. Clerk will please call the roll on the nomination.
As I call the roll, please indicate your choice for Vice Chair of the County Legislature. Mr. Fields.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Mr. Russo.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Ms. Pratt.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Mr. McGill.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Mr. Constantine.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Ms. Gatta.
Jeff McDonald.
Mr. Frazzoni.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Mr. Cuomo.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Mr. Paterni.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Ms. Osterlich.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Mr. Hess.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Mr. McGarry.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Mr. Hughes.
Jeffrey McDonald.
Mr. McDonald.
Jeff McDonald.
Mr. Jazinski.
Jeff McDonald.
15 votes for Legislator McDonald.
With 15 votes, Legislator McDonald is elected Vice Chair of the Schenectady County Legislature. I'd like to invite Legislator McDonald to the well, where the oath of office will be administered by the Honorable Angela Santa Barbara.
Jeff was actually elected to the legislature back, we got elected the same year, and he served our county very well, and I'm very pleased to see him serving as vice chair. I know he's going to do a great job for us, and it's a privilege, Jeff, to be able to administer the oath for you today. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeffrey McDonald,
I, Jeffrey McDonald,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Vice Chair of the Schenectady County Legislature,
the duties of the office of Vice Chair of Schenectady County Legislature,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Thank you.
We're reciprocal Bible holders.
Yeah, majority of my family's in Florida for the winter, and they couldn't get them to come back for my fifth swearing in. So, good evening, everyone, and I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season with all things considered. I want to thank Angelo, Assemblyman Santa Barbara, for swearing me in tonight. He stole my line, but we were both sworn in on the same night 14 years ago. He's a great public servant for Schenectady County, and he works very hard for us all. I also want to congratulate and welcome our new elected legislators, McGill, Frazzoni, Hess, and Cuomo. County government affects everyone in some way, different people in different ways. It's much different than local municipal governments that deliver more tangible services. The administration of county government covers a lot of economic, social, and public health services. What I can tell my newly elected colleagues is that after 14 years, I still learn something new every day, and that over the years, this legislature has developed and hired a very professional management team to deliver the services directed by this body. I would encourage you to learn how county services are administered as you look to put your own mark on the county. The last few years have been tough on everyone, but this county has been fortunate enough to fare very well. There was a time many years ago the county was in a tough place, but due to the collective hard work of many people in this room, the legislature, the staff, the other governments that we work with, this community is growing and we're in a strong financial position. So again, I want to thank my colleagues in this room. It's a very professional, hardworking group of people that work together, and I look forward to continuing to serve for you. Thank you.
At this time, the clerk please read the certificate designating the Honorable Philip Fields, Deputy Chairperson of the Schenectady County Legislature.
I, Anthony Jazinski, pursuant to Article 2 of the Rules of the Schenectady County Legislature, do hereby appoint Philip Fields as Deputy Chair of the Schenectady County Legislature.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Legislator Fields to come to the well, where the oath of office will be administered by the Congressman Paul Tunko.
While the Fields family is coming on stage, allow me to share a few comments. Philip Fields and I go way back to my days in the State Assembly. And when then County Legislator Brian Stratton was resigning from this august body to become mayor of Schenectady, I reached out to the leadership in this county and said, I want to recommend someone to fill the vacancy. Someone who is knowledgeable about government financing, who is a much depended upon voice in the staffing of the State Assembly. And I said, Philip Fields will do that job immensely well. Well, Philip, you've never disappointed. You've only grown in this position. You have shared your skills and your talent for government financing in a way that has enabled us to share that wealth with Schenectady County. I appreciate all of the interaction when it comes to tailoring a lot of legislation at the federal level because of what this leadership team has recommended. So they work it both ways, and I appreciate that immensely. Again, in my closing statement here, congratulations to the newly elected members of the Schenectady County Legislature, to all those returning, and certainly to the leadership. Continue to make that climb on behalf of Schenectady County. It's working, you're doing the job, and congratulations. So, welcome, Fields family. Good to see you all. Philip, raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Philip Fields,
I, Philip Fields,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I would support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
the Charter of the County of Schenectady,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I would faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Deputy Chair of the Schenectady County Legislature
Deputy Chair of the Schenectady County Legislature
according to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. I'd like to say Happy New Year to you all, and may this year be a year that you find peace and understanding, friendship, good health, and love. And we want to thank God for the opportunities and the blessings that we had during this last year, and may this year be a year of rich, great blessings. I want to thank Congressman Paul Tonko for doing the honor of assisting me today in terms of swearing in. Paul Tonko and I have you heard, as he said, has gone back many years. I would say particularly to the time when we worked on the Metroplex legislation, when I was in the Assembly, and this particular type of resolution came from the county up to the state for negotiations, and it was quite an interesting time in my life, and a time with the Assemblyman and all the great, I would say, leaders at that time that worked with the Metroplex legislation. I would say also I want to thank the Congressman for his help and response in relation to legislation that has been provided for the COVID response. It helped New York State, that actually helped Schenectady County, and it helped in many ways in providing federal assistance for unemployment benefits for individuals. There were cash payments that assisted them with various expenses during the time of the COVID crisis, which still continues, and also for the great help in public health funds that receive from the federal government. And the legislation that he's worked on certainly helped this county and put it in a great financial footing. So I thank the Congressman for his service in Washington, D.C., and his help to his district here. It is, again, a great opportunity to serve as a Deputy Chair of the County Legislature, and I want to thank our Chair, Tony Jasinski, for providing the opportunity and advancing the appointment for me in this particular position. I would say that you've heard many comments about him, and over the last many years, I've seen Tony in a capacity doing well, serving beyond the normal course of action where people come here very early in the morning. He's one of those chairs that come and help out with our county at various times. He's always awake very early, and he's also here very late. And you can correspond with him about any time during the day, during the night, on legislative matters, and many of us have been acquainted with his communication towards us. And so I want to thank him for his skill, his dependability, and also his leadership over the last year. And going forward, he's considered to be the right person for the job with the right temperament. And so I want to thank him for that. Especially I want to also reach out again, thank my family, my dear wife, who allowed me for the time to share here and be as part of this legislature, my children, my mother, other family members, and all friends. I thank you for being here and observing this particular ceremony. Again, thank you for your love and loyalty, and also keeping me in check over the last many years as being part of this legislative body. They're also very good supporters and also very good critics of my legislative journey. So thank you. It's a good thing to have them. I would also like to join in welcoming all the returning legislators here to this new session, and also the new legislators. I would like to congratulate them all. Welcoming Omar McGill, again with another historic change in this legislature. Thank you for being here, as well as Peter Frazzoni, Eric Hess, and Josh Cuomo for their accomplishments to be in this legislature. This legislature has been very effective in working together, sharing ideas, and keeping a proper perspective on the needs of the people in our county. So thank you for joining us and being part of us. It has been quite a turbulent time over the past 2 years, and with the protests and COVID, racial indifferences, we have political indifferences, we have religious and spiritual issues, urban, suburban, rural. We have all members that represent these particular areas. We have a lot of environmental disasters and natural disasters, supply disruptions of our goods and services, healthcare worker shortages, airline delays has been the new thing in the last week, or we have the constant isolation of people during this COVID period. Relationships with our community, it has divided our families, it has divided our brothers and sisters, it has divided husbands and wives and parents with their children. And I would say that these events of COVID has gone off the normal course of predictable measures of action that we have had in our lifetime when we've seen something abnormal, something extreme, something strange in our behavior. And our response as part of the legislative body is to bring peace, to bring calm, to bring wisdom, to bring understanding, to bring hope for the people here in Schenectady County. It's not an easy thing to do, but by God's help, we can make a few adjustments to alter the present disruptive course of action and to restore hope to our people. And our responsibility also is to bring forth resolutions that benefit the health and safety and the protections of the residents in our county. And county government is generally a body that is working to fulfill the requirements of the federal government and also the state government. And it's fully implemented here. And as we can see that the roles in our county and our actions going back over the last few years and the accomplishments that we've heard Tony Jasinski brought forth and also Gary Hughes had brought forth, these things have helped us to be stronger in our decisions for tomorrow. Again, maintaining a lower tax increase over the last many years. We can say it's 0% in our property tax levy over the last 4 years. So we have done some significant things, and I really am thankful for the federal government in coming out and giving us some additional funding, because our budget for 2022 that we're sitting in, it's one of the strongest, healthiest budgets we've seen over the last many years. And we've noticed our sales tax are booming. We've noticed despite the changes and the disasters that's going on around us, a strange phenomenon is occurring. Revenues is growing in the state and also in this particular county. And we know, as we heard, that we're going to continue to make these protections and safety and health measures, environmental improvements, helping the parks in the city, in the county, and making various grants to volunteers and organizations that we just did that even had issues with trying to get enough staffing to volunteer in the ambulance area. We've helped various parts of the county, and we will continue to provide these things as we go forward. Our budget this year is nonetheless putting us in a place where we can return to a sense of normalcy, as we can say. But I'm glad for the support of the county employees that were diligent during their COVID experience, working hard, giving up much of their time in making sure that the people and the residents of this particular county have met the needs to get their vaccinations, or just to get their testing done, or just getting the separation issues, providing masks and all the forms of hand sanitizers that's out there. And many volunteers also contributed in making this possible. And so we're thankful for them, and even for the seniors in our nursing home. This has been an exciting time, trying to maintain a level of protection for them, the people that's most vulnerable. I would just like to say that in our words of my late uncle that went on to be with the Lord, he would say, we are living in we are having an auspicious occasion. This county body has been working well. It has brought together good people with all various backgrounds to come together so that in a time like this, that we can be better leaders for tomorrow. And we can also show the world around us that our legacy, our history, knowing full well that the things that we do is not in vain. It is not empty. And we have a remarkable body that's unshakable, that's immutable, a body that will stand out above all as we go forward. We have done that in a sense when we worked with Metroplex, which is one of the interesting authorities that hasn't been replicated elsewhere in the state of New York. Not to say it couldn't, but it just looks at the leadership that we have here in Schenectady County, great thinkers. We had a mindset that wanted to produce something better for our people, our residents, to lift up Schenectady and improve the economic development that we have here. And so collectively together, may we use all our knowledge to make things better for all the residents and our businesses in Schenectady, to make this place very vibrant and continue to do so in 2022. So thank God for the help. May God bless you all, and God bless Schenectady.
Our first item this evening is Resolution 1-22, sponsors the Committee on Rules. The clerk will read.
A resolution continuing the appointment of Jeffrey T. Hall as clerk of the Schenectady County Legislature.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo.
Aye.
Ms. Pratt. Aye. Mr. McGill.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gatta.
Yes.
Mr. Frazzoni.
Yes.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes.
Mr. Paterni.
Aye.
Ms. Osterlich.
Yes.
Mr. Hess.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Jasinski.
Aye.
Thank you all. 15 aye, 0 nay.
Thank you. Congratulations, Jeff. The resolution is passed. Our next item is Resolution 2-22, sponsors the Committee on Rules. The clerk will read.
A resolution continuing the appointment of Rory Flugman as Schenectady County Manager.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo.
Aye.
Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Mr. McGill.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gatta.
Yes.
Mr. Frazzoni.
Yes.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes.
Mr. Paterni.
Aye.
Ms. Osterlich.
Yes.
Mr. Hess.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Jasinski.
Aye.
15 ayes, 0 nay.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. The next item is Resolution 3-22, sponsors the Committee on Rules. The clerk will read.
A resolution continuing the appointment of Julie McDonald as the County Auditor.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo.
Aye.
Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Mr. McGill.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gatta.
Yes.
Mr. Frazzoni.
Yes.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes.
Mr. Paterni.
Aye.
Ms. Osterlich.
Yes.
Mr. Hess.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Jasinski.
Aye.
15 ayes, 0 nay.
Thank you. Resolution is passed. The next item is Resolution 4-22, sponsors the Committee on Rules. The clerk will read.
A resolution confirming the appointments of various persons to position of chaplain at Glendale Nursing Facility.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Mr. Russo.
Aye.
Ms. Pratt.
Aye.
Mr. McGill.
Aye.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Ms. Gatta.
Yes.
Mr. Frazzoni.
Yes.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes.
Mr. Paterni.
Aye.
Ms. Osterlich.
Yes.
Mr. Hess.
Yes.
Mr. McGarry.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Jazinski?
Aye.
15 ayes, 0 nay.
Thank you. Resolution is passed. The next item is Resolution 5-22, sponsors command rules. The clerk will read.
A resolution designating the official newspaper of the County of Schenectady.
Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Mr. Ruzo?
Aye.
Ms. Pratt? Mr. McGill? Mr. Constantine?
Yes.
Ms. Gatta? Mr. Frisoni?
Yes.
Mr. Cuomo?
Yes.
Mr. Paterni?
Aye.
Ms. Osterlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. McGarry?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes? Mr. Hughes?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Jazinski?
Aye.
15 ayes, 0 nay.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. Our next item is Resolution 6-22, sponsors command rules. The clerk will read.
A resolution regarding various deputies in the in the office of the Schenectady County Clerk.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to make a comment on this particular resolution. This is just a technical resolution, just expanding the number of deputies that can be with the county clerk. We already put this particular positions in the budget, and now we're just technically clarifying this in by resolution, and that it should be an exempt class, and that should be up to 5 deputy clerks.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Mr. Ruzo?
Aye.
Ms. Pratt? Mr. McGill?
Aye.
Mr. Constantine?
Yes.
Ms. Gatta? Mr. Frisoni? Mr. Cuomo?
Yes.
Mr. Paterni?
Aye.
Ms. Osterlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. McGarry?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Jazinski?
Aye.
15 ayes, 0 nay.
Thank you. The resolution is passed. There will be no further business to properly come before the legislature at this time. The chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Legislator Hughes, second.
Second.
Legislator Fields, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay.
Aye.
Organization meeting is adjourned. There will be a brief reception just outside the auditorium before we can reconvene for our monthly meeting at approximately 7 o'clock. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone. We're going to resume our committee meetings this evening for January 2022 with the first committee meeting of the evening, the Committee on Public Facilities, Transportation, and Infrastructure to be chaired by Legislator Paterni, who is joining us remotely this evening. Rich?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Before I begin, I just want to just give a big shout out to Jeff Hall and Jason, Alyssa, and Aaron for jumping through a bunch of hoops tonight to allow me to participate via Zoom tonight. Unfortunately, some unfortunate illnesses have hit the Paterni household that forced me to stay home this evening, but hopefully be back on track very soon. Also, just want to congratulate Tony on your reelection as chair, so deserving, along with the rest of our leadership group. And finally, before I begin my committee, big shout out to all that were sworn in tonight, both the newly elected and the re-elected. I truly look forward to working with you as we continue this unbelievable path of success that Schenectady County is on. And with that, I'd like to call to order the Committee on Public Facilities, Transportation, and Infrastructure. This evening we have two items on the agenda. PFTI 1 is a resolution to amend the 2022 Capital Improvement Program to provide funding for an expansion of the Schenectady County Department of Motor Vehicles. And I'm not sure who we have that is going to speak on this tonight.
County Manager Rory Fluman will, Mr. Paterni, it's a very interesting experience to just hear your voice and not see you. So I feel you are a higher power, which you are. So
Thank you, sir.
So briefly, this is the Schenectady County Auto Dealer Processing Center that we're putting on as an addition at our DMV site on County Route 5 or State Route 5 up in Woodlawn in Schenectady. The idea is that automobile dealers have a specific need when they're coming in and processing their needs at the DMV at a higher volume. They tend to be better at filling and turning in forms at our DMV, so there's a higher rapid turnaround rate based on models from other counties. There are counties that take in these requests by mail or whether walk-in. So this is something through the 2022 budget that the Schenectady County has authorized for an expansion at our DMV. Coming with the final plans for the actual physical changes that have to come to the bathroom. Some things of note why we're coming back to the county legislature asking for this $35,000. Our curtain bathrooms out at the DMV, our employees out there actually use the public bathrooms, so they ask for this extra money, is to finish the modifications on the side of the building, which is including a separate entrance, a separate workstation for the DMV employee, a bathroom off the back side of it so that our employees don't have to use the public bathrooms. And then our server room out there in the summer months gets a little warm, so we're looking to up our air conditioning for the protection of our computer out at the DMV.
Thank you, County Manager Fluman. Are there any questions?
We had a motion and a second.
Thank you, Legislator Hughes. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. This resolution is moved. Our second resolution of the evening is a resolution to amend the 2022 Capital Improvement Program, provide funding for the purchase and installation of certain equipment at the Schenectady County Correctional Facility.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So at our jail, one of our convection steamers has broken. To fix it, it would be about half the cost, but it doesn't seem appropriate to fix it because the fix itself won't last the 20 years. The convection oven is 20 years old itself. The fix is only going to be worth 5. So we're coming back to the legislature to ask for authority to purchase brand new this piece of capital equipment at $35,000.
Thank you once again, County Manager Fluman. Any questions?
Move to report.
Thank you. Second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And this resolution is moved, and that concludes our business for the Committee on Public Facilities, Transportation, and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Legislator Paternity. Get well. Our next committee is the Committee on Ways and Means, to be chaired by Legislator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Committee on Ways and Means now come to order. First item on the agenda is Resolution Number 1, authorizing the chargeback of uncollected taxes to certain school districts. We have two school districts, the Shalimont Central School District and the Scotia Glenville School District. We've been doing these in particular amendments at various times in December.
Move to report.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The resolution has been moved. Ways and Means Number 2, a resolution regarding the processing of real property taxes, corrections and refunds for the 2022 calendar year.
Move to report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The resolution has been moved.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Hughes.
I note that the remaining items on the agenda for Ways and Means are dual referrals from an earlier committee, and would ask that you entertain a motion to move the remainder of the calendar in its entirety.
On behalf of a motion by Mr. Hughes to move the remaining calendar, may I have a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda for the remaining calendar has been moved. And with that, Mr. Chair, the Ways and Means committee's come to a close. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Legislator Fields. And that concludes our business for this evening. Happy New Year to everyone, and Legislature stands adjourned.